I want you to do something before we start. Picture a politician, any politician. Got one? Good. Now, was that person a threat or a hero? You didn't need context. You didn't need facts. You just felt something, instantly, automatically. That feeling? It wasn't random. It was built, piece by piece, over years, through images, headlines, repetition, and language carefully chosen to make you feel exactly what you just felt. And here's the thing, you didn't notice it happening. That's what this video is about. Not propaganda as some relic of World War II posters and Soviet newsreels, but propaganda as a living, breathing psychological system, one that is running on you right now, whether you're aware of it or not. Let's get into it. Before we talk about propaganda, we need to talk about you, not in a flattering way. Your brain, brilliant as it is, was not built for the modern information environment. It was built for a world where fast decisions kept you alive, where trusting your tribe meant survival, where certainty felt safer than doubt. And that's exactly what makes you vulnerable. You crave certainty. Ambiguity is painful, so when someone offers a clean, simple explanation for a complicated world, you feel relief. That relief is a door, and propagandists walk right through it. You protect your identity. When information threatens who you believe you are, your values, your group, your worldview, your brain doesn't evaluate it. It rejects it. This isn't weakness, it's biology, but it can be exploited. And you fear social rejection. Humans are wired to conform, to believe what the people around them believe, to signal membership. Propaganda doesn't just change what you think, it tells you what everyone like you thinks. And that's often enough. These aren't flaws unique to uneducated people. They're not signs of low intelligence. They are the operating conditions of every human brain that has ever existed. And propaganda was designed with all of them in mind. I want to be honest with you for a second. A few years ago, I was deep in an online community, I won't say which one, where a particular worldview was just the air you breathed. The memes, the in-jokes, the language, the shared enemies. It felt like clarity, like I'd finally found people who got it. It took me a long time to realize that what I thought was independent thinking was actually groupthink with better aesthetics. I hadn't been lied to, exactly, but I had been shaped. The information I received was curated. The emotions I felt were guided. The conclusions I reached felt like mine, but the path to them had been carefully laid out. That's the thing about effective propaganda. It doesn't feel like propaganda. It feels like waking up. It's 1939. Germany has just invaded Poland. But for many ordinary German citizens, this doesn't feel like aggression. It feels like justice, like self-defense, like reclaiming what was rightfully theirs. How does an entire society arrive at that feeling? It didn't happen overnight. It was built over years through a deliberate psychological campaign. Jewish people were referred to in dehumanizing language, consistently, relentlessly, until the language felt normal. Maps were redrawn in classrooms to show Germany as a nation surrounded and threatened. News was filtered so that only stories confirming victimhood and superiority got through. Psychologists call this the illusory truth effect. The more you hear something, the more true it feels. Not because you've evaluated the evidence, but because familiarity registers as truth in the brain. By the time the worst policies were enacted, many people weren't following orders out of hatred. They were following what felt like obvious common sense, because their information environment had been constructed to make it feel that way. Now, before you think, that was a different time, a different people, pause, because that's exactly what I want to talk about next. You think this only works on other people, on the less educated, the more extreme, the other side. Here's what the research actually shows. High intelligence doesn't protect you from propaganda. In some ways, it makes you more vulnerable, because intelligent people are better at constructing justifications for conclusions they've already emotionally reached. You call it reasoning. Psychologists call it rationalization. And in 2026, propaganda doesn't need a Ministry of Information. It has something far more powerful, an algorithm that knows you better than you know yourself. It knows what makes you angry, what makes you click, what identity you're performing online. And it feeds you a curated reality, not to inform you, but to keep you engaged. Outrage keeps you engaged. Confirmation keeps you engaged. Tribal identity keeps you engaged. The propaganda you consume today doesn't arrive with a swastika or a hammer and sickle. It arrives as a perfectly timed video, a headline calibrated to your psychology, a meme that makes you feel smart for agreeing, and it feels completely, utterly like your own opinion. Researchers have actually cataloged the core techniques. They haven't changed much in a century, only the delivery has. Name-calling. Attach a negative label to an idea or person so people reject it without thinking. Socialist, fascist, snowflake, extremist. Glittering generalities. Wrap your message in words that feel universally good. Freedom, family, progress, security. Nobody argues with the word. They just absorb what's attached to it. Transfer. Borrow the authority or prestige of something respected, a flag, a religion, a scientist, and place it next to your message. The association does the work. Testimonial. A trusted or admired figure endorses the idea. Doesn't matter if they're an expert in that area. Credibility transfers. Plain folks. I'm just like you. The leader who eats at diners. The billionaire in a t-shirt. The politician holding a baby. Relatability disarms skepticism. Card stacking. Present only the evidence that supports your case. Omit everything else. Technically, nothing you said was false. Bandwagon. Everyone is joining. You don't want to be left behind, do you? Social belonging is a primal need. This technique hijacks it. You've seen all of these today. You just might not have had the words for them. Here's where it gets uncomfortable in a different way. If your beliefs can be engineered through repetition, emotional framing, social pressure, and algorithmic curation, then where exactly does your opinion begin? Is there a version of you that exists outside of influence? Or are you, at some level, always the product of the information environment you were raised in, the community you belong to, the media you consume? This isn't a nihilistic question, it's an honest one, because the alternative, believing that your worldview is simply the result of clear-eyed, independent reasoning, might itself be one of the most effective pieces of propaganda ever told. The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates believed that the unexamined life was not worth living. Maybe the modern version of that is simpler. The unexamined belief is not worth holding. So what do you actually do with this? When something makes you feel intense emotion, anger, fear, pride, disgust, treat that as a signal to slow down, not speed up. Emotion is the mechanism. Pause before you share, react, or conclude. Ask who benefits from you believing this. Follow the incentive. Propagandists need something from you. Your vote, your outrage, your money, your loyalty. Seek out the strongest version of the opposing view. Not a straw man. The real thing. If your belief can't survive an honest challenge, it was never really yours. And notice the language. Words like always, never, they, us, threat, real Americans, enemies of the people. These are tells. They're designed to close your mind, not open it. None of this makes you immune, but it makes you slower to be moved. And in an attention economy built on instant reaction, slowness is a form of resistance. I'll leave you with this. The most powerful propaganda isn't the one you hate. It's not the one from the other side. The one that's obviously wrong, obviously manipulative, obviously designed for people less sophisticated than you. The most powerful propaganda is the one that feels like truth. The one that matches your fears, confirms your identity, and tells you exactly what you were hoping to hear. That's the one you need to watch for. Not out there, in here.